It's Tuesday, January 24th. This is an end of the day SPY recap. And you can see today we end up with an inside bar. So it's a consolidation bar after 2 days, pretty strong days to the upside. We then consolidate right in here between the blue lines, which was the pre-market high and low. And quite frankly, that was kind of the expectation today when you kind of saw that you had, on these two moves up, you had reached a certain level. It was a potential area to pause, not necessarily reverse, but not necessarily to keep momentum to the upside. So you still had an up bias on the day. So you can see we ended a little bit green here. And essentially, that's how this thing all works. I mean, you kind of, you do a lot of what if scenarios given the context and the continuity between the different time frames. Here's the weekly time frame, here's a monthly time frame, and you kind of see how price is opening. You know some key levels, like for example, I know this yellow line, it has to get down there to turn the weekly chart red. And that's now with 2 days gone in the week. I know that's a kind of an important level. If we're going to reverse, we got to get through there. I also know we got to get to the midpoint of the prior week to really turn the bigger picture, even start to turn it down. That's kind of this line here, this purple line. So if we come down tomorrow, we're going to see if we turn the weekly chart red, and then maybe a kind of a chain reaction to turn the weekly chart red. You never know. But we also know that in the big picture, we're kind of now, after this momentum hammer bar on the weekly chart, we are starting up and this target's up here. And that's the bias really until something changes. So even though I was expecting sort of a consolidation day today, I certainly wasn't looking for anything to fail. And if it did fail, it would have to get opening price action. It really had a lot of momentum to the downside and kind of took out some key levels. And then maybe I'd adjust some of my thinking. So that's, just thought I'd throw that in there. But anyway, today, in terms of how things really unfolded, first of all, on the 15-minute chart, we start at the bottom of the pre-market range. Quite frankly, one way to trade this, I thought it would be choppy, so I was watching it for a while, but I could see on this first bar here, it kind of was neutral. It started down, it started up, it just closed neutral, and then we started up on bar number 2. So you could have bought that, if you did, and then expecting it, to come up, given the up bias, given that start that kind of held the pre-market lows. To me, you would have had to take a small loss down here on bar number 2 if you did that. And because, it did have a strong reversal, you didn't know for sure what was going to happen, and that's a pretty negative reversal. Then, once it came down here on bar 3, tested those lows, and then popped up by the end, I actually bought calls here. I put a video out. I talked about once it got up here, I didn't know how much more you'd get, and it kind of paused, then you get a little pause and another attempt up. So, it was a type of thing where there was a very small gain to be had on this bar, and if you were aggressive buying it here, which to me was the only trade to consider, I think it would have been a small loss, quite frankly, just for safety purposes. But anyway, market ended up coming up, 2 pushes up 3. I did a little scalp trade towards the end of the day where I sold it here and I actually just exited right here. And now you can see after hours we're heading up. I think that's on Microsoft earnings. Yeah, if I go to Microsoft, that had obviously positive news at the moment, or a reaction to earnings. So that's moving up nicely. We'll see if that holds for the rest of the day. That could bring the market up tomorrow, a lot of stocks. So the inside day tomorrow, the way that works is it looks like, let's say we gap up higher, then you're kind of above that area. But if it heads up there, you kind of want to see it reach its target, which is the weekly high, and then continue. The interesting thing with inside bars, and I'll get into it more in the morning, depending where the pre-market range is, a lot of times these can be failure bars. So if we would have closed weak today, which we didn't, I could have seen us taking out that low, not reached our target of these key lines, or yesterday's, Monday's low, and then starting up, maybe either, having a reversal day back to the upside, or maybe on Thursday, having a 1, 2 down, 2 up kind of move, given the overall trends to the upside. But that looks like, it looks like after this move, maybe we'll be gapping up tomorrow. In that case, you're going to stick with the upside. See, after 2 momentum days and a pause, you get another momentum day happening. We'll get into that more in the morning. There are targets up here that price is heading to until proven otherwise. So anyway, today was pretty, the expectations were kind of met. just a choppy day overall, tricky to trade in my opinion. Finally, I actually went short a couple of stocks and did okay. Coinbase here, I shorted and did a little well. And then even CrowdStrike, I put a video out. I went short in here and took a very small profit. So it wasn't much going on today overall. That's fine. Not every day is a perfect day for trading, and you kind of know that. That's part of the game also. To me, I'm happy, just to come out a little bit ahead on a few small trades here and there on a day like this, on a very, small inside day. And now we'll just see if we can get some of that momentum continuing higher tomorrow, given, what seems to be Microsoft maybe leading the market higher.